Okay, remember that they are changing my voice. So in regards to Donald Trump's administration accusing Obama of treason and things of that nature, I want to first point out that they're trying to start a kind of racial clash. As they say, they're selling and I'm not buying, right? I'm not buying it. I'm not playing into it. Okay, I'm not a racist. I don't think it's a coincidence that the one former president who was black is accused in like the most intense way in American history of this activity. I think it's very pitiful for people to sink to that level, but I'm not going to become some racist and fire back like a racist would. I believe that all presidents in American history have done things that are wrong and have done things that are best described as treason. I think that Obama, in my opinion, he's at least among the most polite and sincere presidents. That's how he comes off to me when I look at, Eisenhower, Nixon, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Biden, Trump, okay, Kennedy, you name it. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. When I look at these guys, Truman, Roosevelt, right, FDR, I don't agree with people who say that he's the worst president ever or something. And I look at the facts. And I judge the character and not the color of the skin or, what have you. With that being said, I'm going to say that I'm mad at everybody on the planet according to their deeds. If it's a kind old lady, say a kind old white or Jewish lady who is more fair than everyone else, and I give them that credit. If it's an LGBT person who's more fair than everyone else, I give them that credit. Everyone else, so to speak. Because obviously I'm more fair than everybody else. But when I look at the trends of the groups, okay, if you attach yourself to a group of pirates or human traffickers, you will be judged as such. You attach yourself to a drug cartel, and you have no good reason to be there, you're not undercover or whatever, okay, I judge you by the things that you do, including the groups you attach yourselves to. And whites, Jews, and LGBT people are leading the charge to bring down the world and to persecute me. So there's the general rule of thumb, and there's the exception. Now, I've been reaching out to these communities in every community the whole time, especially in the last maybe 10 years or so. Whenever I started doing it, I said, if you don't think I should put it this way, how should I put it? I'm still looking for an answer. And I accuse the people who made the language and the people who control the cultures of purposely, deliberately making it so that it's hard to describe what's going on without sounding like you're racist against whites and Jews, without sounding like you are a hateful person who doesn't just who just hates LGBT people. That is stupid as hell. It is a stupid problem to have, as they say, but it's still a problem. And you see these people trying to make it so that, my videos are fairy washed or gay washed, right? They're changing my voice. I have to double check and triple check the things that I say. That's part of why I need a suitable helper. They're trying to make it so I go senile before my time or something. And that has to do with them hacking my brain. I didn't try to cover it up, okay? When I was younger, I made small mistakes in regards to how I describe things, what have you. Things that were, pushing the truth, you might say, to the limit. And I'll go ahead and bring one of them up because I'm mature, because I'm grown, because I'm satisfied that there's an overwhelming amount of evidence that I'm the top martial artist ever possible. I put my money where my mouth is. I'm persecuted for righteousness' sake, that I'm the most ideal person ever. I have nothing to lose when it comes to, explaining this. So perhaps the biggest mistake I made in my video series the whole time was when I was talking about how many challengers I've beaten in my life, over the course of my life. And I knew that at that time, if I didn't explain it a certain way, that people would be dumb enough to not understand that I'm the top martial artist and that I should be in charge. And time was of the essence. So in a sense, it was a mistake because it got people's attention. I don't remember the number I said. I think I know. It was interesting. I just remembered it as 1,000, but I actually said like 100. Okay, so I actually beat somewhere between maybe, it's hard to remember right now, but somewhere between 20 people in my life and 100 people at sparring. Somewhere between that, but certainly not 100, right? Somewhere closer to the 20 number. Okay, because of the exact way that martial arts training takes place and how you would define a victory. Okay. And there's other ways to kind of look at it too, as people forfeiting. When you add the people that forfeited, the number is actually more like between 40 and 100, I say. So I think that I was saying 100 and I get very angry. So I was shooting high with it, and I'd swear that that's the number. Fumed and poisoned, brain hacked, what have you. Okay? But you got to look at this thing, right? Whoever leads the upright on the wrong path will fall into their own trap. Yeah, it makes me feel some kind of way to point that out. I have nothing to be ashamed of. I made a call back then when I was younger, fumed and poisoned. Maybe I was about 30 years old. After years of being fumed and poisoned, at one point I was an alcoholic. They had me on psych meds at various points. It was hard to make masterful calls. But even during that time, there's not a person in American history who made better calls. I made the best calls in human history of anyone who's ever lived. And they tried to undermine that by changing the sound of my voice, by doing things, by covertly drugging me, causing me to make minor mistakes, with that one probably being the worst one. Pretty straightforward. So I look at this society of psychotic sexual control, a society of unfairness, a society where they killed this female in Chicago recently, and I'm going to make a video about that after this. She was engaged, it was a hit and run, the wordplay lined up, so they killed her. After my flesh dies, they're going to keep killing people when the wordplay lines up, because they are fucking insane. You'll see. Those of you who are still alive, you'll see. These people are monsters. The Epstein list is nothing compared to what's going on here. I told you people years ago, when people like me were being made fun of, my goal when I made my Illuminati Part 1 video was to make the most videos about the Illuminati, factual videos. No reptilian craziness. Speaking of that, they have technologies that can make people hallucinate. And they might think that they see some weird stuff. I'm not going to say those things, I don't want to take me out of context, but weird stuff that stigmatizes conspiracy theorists. They have those technologies, I can tell you that with certainty. They can cause you to hallucinate, they can put voices in your head, they can influence your dating judgment and control your arousal. They have technologies that can, they're starting to be able to, I don't know if they're able to or not, but they're starting to be able to make people gay. And if you look up the history of the gay bomb, this is something they've admitted to having tried in the past. It's on record admitted that they funded various chemicals to try to make enemy soldiers become gay. Notice it was enemy soldiers. And they're disproportionately targeting minorities and poor white people. And then some circles of rich people, Hollywood, what have you. Because they're trying to make it so that certain people are like in gated communities with nice suits who try to look more handsome, James Bond-like, what have you. Or Captain America propaganda-like, or these shrewd English guys in gentlemen's clubs, social clubs. They're trying to make it so their genetics seem ideal because it was their forefathers' despicable work. And I urge them to obey God and not their forefathers, and to follow the rules of God and not the mere traditions of their forefathers. It's never too late to do the right thing, but it can be too late to go to heaven. Scramble to do the right thing. And I command the governing class and everyone following them to stop killing people unfairly. And stop killing attractive females. Chicago right chick, alpha go, the type of female that I would date. That female was engaged. I would almost certainly never meet her in my life. But to know that they're trying to get rid of and reduce and ruin the types of females I would date is rather disconcerting, rather sad, rather abhorrent that they would do that. Very evil to do that. Right now I'm fumed, I have a little bit of a headache. I don't want to spend up all, the memory on my phone. I have important videos to make about Job, connecting the sun in Habakkuk and Job to the lightning and the strikes of God in Isaiah 30. I have an important video to make about these people who are killing people. And I can't chastise the governing class and whoever's rolling with it enough for fairy washing the things that I'm doing. I'm not okay with it. The Spirit of God is more than just heterosexual. It's the potent essence of heterosexual on a divine and graceful and morally precise way. It's not erotic desire either. It's not, be a lady here and be a freak in the sheets. Don't be a freak at all. Being a freak is an abomination. That's why it's called a freak. You think you should turn into Marilyn Manson's twin sister in bed? Or into a porn star? That's sick. Those people who say it's none of my business, okay? It is my business. Not exactly what you do with your wife. That's not my business. But to say generally what's right and wrong, right? Don't torture your wife in bed. Don't have her doing disgusting things. That is my business. Everyone's business. It's not our job to, go into your bedroom and watch you like some sick big brother pervert, right? Some sick government pervert. Some gang-stalking worm. That's nobody's job. That's sick. But it is our job to say, don't be a sick fuck. And one of the main things people talk about when they say something's sick are things related to sex.